Okay, so we left off creating buttons. Okay, so there's my next button. And again, if you want to edit a button, you just double click it and you can go in and edit it. But I'm going to go back to the scene. Here we go, and there's where I placed those scripts. Now the next thing we got to do is place buttons. I have my buttons and I want to place those, so I'm going to create a new layer. And I want to make sure that my actions layer are on the top, and I'm going to call this next button. Really want to use all lowercase when you're doing this. Okay, and right now, actually, let me rename that. Okay, so I have a layer for the buttons. Now I just need to put it out there, so I'm just going to put it down here somewhere, like right there. And you'll notice that it populates for all the frames. You can see to wherever my movie ends, it's going to populate. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to create a keyframe at each stop, because this button, even though it's one button, we're going to actually have 5 different instances of that button. This is the button, but when we drag it out here, it's an instance. Now we could drag it out there 5 times for each stop, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert a keyframe for each place it stops. And the reason we do that is because each one of these buttons has to do something different. Like when I click this one, it needs to start here and play there. This one needs to start here and go there. So each script is going to be totally different. So these button instances have to be totally different names, okay? Because it's called in the script. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert a keyframe, and basically it's going to give me the option of renaming these instances. I'll show you that here in just a second, okay? Now down here I don't need one. We'll end up putting a replay button in that section, but okay. So when your movie starts playing, okay, it's going to stop here. Well, this button needs to have an instance name for us to write a script for it, okay? So I'm going to go to the properties, and I'm going to call this next one underscore btn, okay? And it has to be exact, okay? And remember what you're calling this, because this has to be exactly what you call it in the script. All that, next one underscore btn, and I'll show you that here in just a second, okay? And you'll see that it's called that even to this point right here. If we look at the if I click on it, you can see it's called that through that section, okay? This one needs to be called something different because we got to write a different script for it, because it does something totally different. It goes to another frame, another section. So you'll see that when I click on the stage and I'm in the properties, it doesn't have an instance name, so I'm going to call this next to underscore btn. So you want to name them something that's easy to remember, okay? Then I'm going to go here to this stop on that button layer, click that button. You can see there's no instance name. I'm going to call that next 3 underscore btn, okay? And then the next one is going to be called next 4. Okay, you got to click on the stage to get this to work. So next 4 underscore btn. Very important that you keep consistent with your naming. Okay. All right. So those buttons are ready to place, are ready to script. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is record the scripting part of it. Okay. So usually we want to test it to make sure that this portion's working before we go on to the next portion. Okay. I'm going to test often.